What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 281 of Opinions May Vary. I'm your host, JR, and my co-host with me, Alex.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Hi.
That's like the new thing now. It's like, hey, man, I always have to greet you again for some reason.
How are you?
I don't know what it is. I'm okay.
Last time you asked me how I was, and I was like, bleh. And you were like, me too. Thanks for asking. So
I'm a funny guy. That's what they say about me. But anyways,
looks aren't everything.
it's just us this weekend. It's a beautiful Saturday. We were blessed with a massive downpour, and I was blessed with a little bit of water in my basement.
Ooh.
So it's a good day.
Should extend those drain pipes.
It's just an ongoing thing. Yeah. Super fun times. Home ownership, am I right?
Just mash a thong in there or something.
I don't know what you just said. Mash a thong?
Yeah. Do you have a crack?
Oh, Jesus. Let's talk about the phenomenon that is sweeping the nation, taking over the mobile world by storm a year ago. And is now
I was wondering where you were going with that.
And is now sort of kind of making waves again.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite the same crash.
Fanfare.
Yeah, that's good pomp and circumstance as it did last year when it was everywhere, literally everywhere, and people were out in the blistering heat voluntarily, like willingly.
Mm-hmm.
But because Pokemon Go came out, I don't think we ever really did. We touch on that? I can't remember if we ever did like a Pokemon Go thing.
I don't think we did.
Because there was a time when the both of us were into it pretty hard.
We were gonna, but then we stalled for something else.
Right, and then it just died.
And then you uninstalled.
I did uninstall.
I mean, it took a little while.
Yeah, I mean, I was hard into it.
Because I was kind of still playing, like a bit casually here and there. And I went to a couple events. That were like local things that were neat.
We found an area that was pretty ripe.
I found a couple, but one's a lot closer than the other.
Right. And we're pretty big in. I had a pretty decent team going. I can't remember what my strongest thing was. I think it was like everyone else at the time, like a Jolteon, because that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You had one of the evolutions, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest, you just kind of prayed for Pikachus, which I managed to catch at my old job in the cafe.
Now there's a whole bunch of them.
Which
because they all have hats.
Right.
You can get your Santa hat or your Ash hat.
Of course.
Yeah.
Perfect. But it's kind of so it died for a while, and everyone either caught everything, or just kind of got bored with it.
There were issues with the locations because it was tough to go out into the world and actually like chase down the Pokemon.
Right.
Because like the way there was like there's supposed to be a game mechanic where like, oh, it seems like there might be a Toro in this direction, so I'll walk in that direction. And then it just disappears or it blips out or it's not over there at all. It's in a different place. And you have to try and adventure over there. So eventually they just took that out altogether. And there was no way to actually like track any of the Pokemon.
Oh yeah, they had the steps, like the footprints.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So that none of those had any meaning anymore. Because it was, something in the game didn't work. So they just took it out. And everyone who like were convinced that it worked were furious, even though it didn't work. It just didn't. And so they were starting to do a few new things. They had a couple other updates as the year went on. If Pokemon were near Pokestop, it would tell you this thing is near this Pokestop.
Right.
And it would show the icon for that. So then you could go towards that Pokestop and go catch it there. And like that was a bit better because it was telling your location to an extent. But like still tracking them in wild was still impossible. And there's no way they've gotten anywhere close to fixing that. So that threw a lot of people off. That threw so many people off where like people were demanding refunds. The game is broken now. I hate the game. I uninstall it and like give my money back. I want a refund. And it's like, but you spent your coins. You bought your Pokecoins and you spent them. You're like, yeah, well now I can't play. It's like when you buy a game for your PlayStation or your Nintendo and you stop playing it, do you want your money back? Like, do you demand a refund?
I bought this burger and then I ate it, and now I'm not hungry anymore. I would like my money back,
If I'm
please.
not hungry, I don't eat the burger. So like, I had a couple conversations online with people who like were defending that standpoint, and I'm like, no, that's not how it goes. You were into the thing, you got your entertainment, but now the thing is a little harder, so you're not into it anymore. So you're just furious about it, and it's not really a good reason. And people were like, kind of fighting on that and being like, it is a valid reason because it's not playable. It's like, but you were entertained for what you spent. I mean, you could have just not spent the money. You didn't need to buy all those Pokecoins.
I never even, like, the feet, the tracker, like, it never worked for me to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, I never even really used it. It was just like I would wander around and encounter Pokemon,
Yeah.
similar to the actual Pokemon game. But like, it was never, oh God, there's 3 footsteps. There must be a something nearby.
It's
I
gotta be
must locate it, and
it's
if I
100 meters.
if I'm unable to locate it, I demand a refund.
And Poke Tracker was a website that you could look at to try and track your Pokemon. People still try to use spoofing websites or spoofing apps where you use a GPS app to tell your phone where it actually is
Right,
compared
right.
to where you want it to be so you could catch stuff there. And so like Niantic would either ask those companies like, hey, could you not do that, or find a way to block them and outlaw them and possibly maybe ban your account for using them because you're cheating at the game.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in a rural area, I'm sorry. You're not going to catch as many Pokemon. You're not going to find the Pokestops as if you live in New York City or if you live in Northampton or, other places.
You remember last year when we got to Boston?
Yeah.
When we were trying to find a parking spot and I was
remember that.
flipping out?
Yeah, I remember that.
Because, like, in my
That was 2
area.
years ago, by the way.
That was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That was last year.
No. Okay. There was a year when I was driving and you were flipping out about all the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Just,
They were everywhere. That was last year.
you were intentionally teasing the shit out of me.
It was like half and half.
Yeah, you were being a dick.
Like
It's like I'm furious while driving because I'm driving and I can't
in
play
Boston.
my Pokemon. And you're like, oh my God, I just caught this. I caught a pincer. I caught this. I spun a 3-star. Oh, look at all the eggs I got. And like I'm trying to drive and I'm like, fuck, I can't. And then time goes by. What was the next event that we did?
After Boston, New York?
Because you were driving.
Because I drove to New York.
Because you're driving and I'm on my phone
Yeah.
with a Pokemon out. And I'm like, oh, I'm catching some stuff. And you're like, I uninstalled. I don't care anymore. I don't give a shit. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? I'm like, I can't stab you the way you were stabbing me.
I mean, driving in New York stresses me out, so I was super stressed, if that helps. Oh, that was funny. I'm a funny guy.
So
But yeah, but like
so
what
fast-
I was getting at
okay.
was like when my wife and I would like go for walks at night, like I might run into like an Eevee or a Caterpie.
Mhm.
I might. Like, but when we were driving around Boston, I literally couldn't keep up with the screen.
Yeah.
It was, oh God, what do I fight next?
Yeah.
Oh, like I need to hit those 20 Pokestops in that like 10-foot radius,
Yeah.
and then just catch everything here.
Mhm.
So like if you're living the city life, you got a gold when it comes to that game.
Mm-hmm.
But rural, like you said, you got to work.
Yeah. Or travel or whatever. So once Niantic like either shut down those websites or shut down connections to those apps, like people were mad again. 'Cause they're like,
They were mad that they couldn't cheat.
yeah. Which I mean, if it's the real world, then like if cheating is a crime, I mean people
You wouldn't download a car.
it's performance enhancing drugs in sports. This is my performance enhancing app.
Performance. Oh yeah, that was gonna be better than what I was gonna say.
So like as much as people have been enjoying Pokemon Go, like I know it kind of sounds like an old topic because it came out last year, but this year, fast forward to now, just last weekend, they had the first location event you could go to. Pokemon Go Fest was in Chicago. And they attracted, they said, 20,000 people, Pokemon trainers, to go to this park, buy tickets to get in. I was watching a couple videos on it because I forget how I got to it. Oh, I was looking up like I'm still playing Pokemon Go now.
I mean, it's
Not
it's
like
it's safe to say it's kind of back. Like a lot
there,
of they've been
there's
releasing more
there's
Pokemon.
another update.
Yeah.
There's an update. I think. What was the first region for the OG
Kanto?
Kanto? So now like the next region was opened up with some Gen 2 Pokemon.
Right.
So now I can catch Gen 2 Pokemon, and they updated the gyms. So now the gyms are different. They had a different mechanic than they used to. Each team can still control gyms, but now the way you power them up or power them down is different. And now there's raids, which mean like your gym might not be a gym for 2 hours, but there will be I'm trying to think of like an Electabuzz is now like above your gym, and that's like a boss battle kind of thing. And you need friends or you need a bunch of people to go do this boss battle, and then you can claim that Electabuzz, and you'll get experience points and coins and everything for participating in this.
Do you all get the Electabuzz?
You get a chance to catch it after you beat it, and so you get like special Pokeballs. So like you can miss,
Right.
but like with these Pokeballs, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to catch. Almost like a Master Ball.
And running into an Electabuzz, I don't think I ever encountered one
I've been
back in the day.
on a Facebook group that I'm in. I was told there's a couple of nests around. And what's the Magmar? That's one of them, right?
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a Magmar nest like towards the north end of the town, out by the prison somewhere.
Right.
But
This is a prison in our town.
yeah.
A big one too.
But it's not Supermax or anything.
Right. It's still super intimidating when you drive by it.
There's a lot of fences.
Yeah, there's a lot of fences and there's a lot of sharp things on those fences. And then there's fences inside of the fences.
So the boss raids are kind of neat. They're kind of intimidating as well.
Because they're like legendaries and stuff.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Dan saw. We didn't know how it went yet. Like the countdown timer is till like the raid ends, and we thought like, oh, it starts in 2 hours. No, it ends in 2. So like we skipped one and like went to go for a walk and spend some Pokestops in Manchester, and we saw a ton of people at where this Lugia gym was, and like there was like 20 people out there, and I was like, oh, they're doing it now. We're too late. And like it's the kind of thing where like, yeah, you need 20 people. Like the limit is 20. You can solo like because they're in faces, so like an angry face instead of stars. So
Right.
like 5-star difficulty is 20 people. 4-star difficulty is like between 13 17. 2-star I could solo.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm proud of that.
No big.
I'm only on level 22. But the new boss battles are kind of neat, but it's still kind of thing where like if you're in a populated area, more people are going to show up. You're better notified of it, and like we have to rely on Twitter or Facebook to be like, hey, who's near the Big E Fairgrounds? Because there's an Articuno over here.
Right, right.
I saw that one the other day, and I was like, how fast could I get to?
To West Springfield.
So, like, yeah, in a rural area, you're just not. It's just not going to happen as much for you. Like, just oh well. Okay. So that's been getting some people back in. Like I've kind of stepped up my game a bit because that's been interesting. So they have the Pokemon Go Fest. This has been a long intro. I'm sorry. A bunch of people showed up. If you've ever
20,000 allegedly.
If you've ever been to a convention or a concert or a show and like the internet on your phone works a little bit slower or not at all, it's because there's so many people also using their phone.
And that's just with casual checking normal phone usage.
Yeah.
This is an event with people. The intent is to be on your phone the entire time.
Connecting with space, with satellites in space, telling things other things. Yep. And reports say that for the first hour it was going well. People were lining up and in line for a long time. It's basically a convention, but in a park. It's open air. You're outside. Like Pokemon Go encourages you to do is to go wander around. There was a stage. There was a DJ playing. There was tents for each gym. You could go hang out there. There was like mobile Pokestops that they put in the park. All this kind of neat stuff. They released rare Pokemon. They released legendaries, and so it was going pretty well until more and more people showed up. And with that many people, no one could connect anymore. Their games were dropping. They weren't logging in. It just wasn't working, and everyone was furious.
Tensions rose.
It was really exciting bad.
Because some people, I know, I was reading an article,
Mm-hmm.
a pretty long one. I think it was on The Verge, I believe, about like, some people could not get tickets. Some people paid.
Oh, yeah, there were scalpers.
Yep.
The event definitely had scalpers.
Some people paid ridiculous prices for tickets. Some people flew in to this event.
Mhm.
It wasn't like, oh, I live in Chicago. Let's just go hang.
I guess I'll just go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
this was
was,
a
no, I live
destination
in like
event.
Oregon. I want to go to this, so let's fly out
Yeah.
and spend money on the tickets and spend money on the flights and let's go to this thing. Similar to like, oh, hey, I want to go to
San Diego
Emerald
Comic-Con.
City. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to fly there,
Yeah.
probably. Or we could drive,
I mean, it would be like a couple days. of driving,
yeah. And then a couple days back.
but then we have to get a hotel room
Yep.
or stay with a friend or whatever.
Yep. And then pay for admission
Mm-hmm.
and then go from there. So some people, this could have been potentially a pricey trip.
Yeah. So I first heard about it because I was looking up who's strong against.
Right.
Because
I can't even.
there was a boss battle of some kind, or I was trying to fight another gym, and I was like, who should I put up against them? And I just Google who is strong against Steelix or whatever, and so sometimes like videos would pop up, and I started watching some of these videos, specifically one by Trainer Tips. It's the name of the YouTube channel. That's run by a dude named Nick, and like he was describing what happened at Pokemon Go Fest, so I started looking into it there. And what?
Stupid thing you posted on Facebook. I'm sorry. The square doggage.
What?
The square doggage.
How many dogs can it fit?
The rubbing temples. I'm so sorry. I just completely derailed the entire episode. Alex posted a really funny picture on Facebook, and it got me to laugh. So if you're friends with Alex, go look at his Facebook. Anyways, Pokemon Go.
So yeah, I learned about it from watching Trainer Tips on YouTube, and I was like, this is kind of interesting, because this guy gave his, rundown and take on what happened. Then I was looking at some others, and then there was one that like really took it a little too far for me.
Tore into it.
Because it's supposed to be another reporting site. They're reporting on stuff.
Yeah.
It's called The Know. That was the name of their YouTube channel, and they're describing the Pokemon disaster, the Go Fest disaster, and now there's potentially a lawsuit because even though Niantic knew there was problems, the guy Nick on Trainer Tips had said, because like he was invited to the event, like Niantic flew him out and like had him doing guest stuff, like doing autographs and pictures and everything, and so he was getting information that he would talk about. Niantic had gone to the cell phone providers to be like, we're going to have this event. Everyone's going to be on their phones. And here's the amount of people we expect to have. And here's the amount of data we're going to have to be transferring. Can you support that? And all companies were like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And only one of those companies like sent a mobile tower, like a tower to put in place to help the
Boost.
to boost the signal and everything, and the rest were like, it's fine, just don't.
What are you going to do, not use our services? We have what's called a monopoly, and it's great.
Well, there's 4 providers. So
Exactly.
It's not,
Oh, you're going to go to someone else?
it's not really a monopoly.
Well, like the 4 of them over the market.
That's still not a monopoly's 1.
I know, but like, you know what I mean? It's like,
You're silly. We're disagreeing. Opinions are varying.
it's true. It's true. Because mono typically means 1.
Without TNA, WWE would have a monopoly on wrestling. Diamond Shipping has a monopoly on comics. So
Parker Brothers has a monopoly on Monopoly. I'm assuming they make
son of a bitch.
Monopoly. I don't know who makes Monopoly. I'm assuming it's Parker.
It's a good one.
But
All right, back to Pokemon.
4 companies have a monopoly. Go ahead.
So
It's raining while it's sunny. What's happening?
the Know. Can we close the window?
Yeah, we might need to close that. Stand by.
We thought like without a fan of the AC, it'll cut down on and our background noise, which you may have noticed over the past 2 episodes. So, this YouTube channel, The Know, was talking about Pokemon Go for this lawsuit, and they're saying, there's a law firm that wants to start a class action suit, and whoever wants to sign up can sign up and list their losses. Because even though Niantic knew they were having problems,
Right.
because they're trying to talk on stage and say how cool it is that everyone's there and thanks for coming, and people are booing the stage, they're chanting, "We can't play, fix the
Fix
game,
the
it's
game,"
broken." The owner and CEO of Niantic tries to talk, and he's just getting booed, and so they're like, "Okay," the event gets finished, and they decide, "Here's what we'll do." Everyone gets the money back for their ticket to get into the park, so you get your refund. Everyone also gets $100 in Pokecoins as like, sorry that you came here, but
Right.
here's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone got a Lugia put into their Pokedex, so now they also have Lugia,
Which
on
was
top.
supposed to be like the big ending thing.
Yeah,
It was supposed
it's-
to be like a big battle against, but
Mhm.
like instead of having to earn it, you just got it.
Right. And they also extended like, the increased play from the park to the entire city of Chicago.
Right.
And they put more of the rare Pokemon and legendaries throughout the city of Chicago. And more people had more fun playing throughout the city and were able to do more throughout the entire city than just in that one park. And so to some people, like, well, they tried. I guess that's enough. Like, it's not all their fault. Maybe I should blame AT&T or Singular. No, that doesn't exist anymore. Or Verizon.
One of the other
I should
monopolies.
blame all the monopolies. Maybe I should blame them for not, giving me a good signal. But for some people, that's not good enough.
Of course.
And they're like, well, Niantic should also pay for my flight that I spent to get to Chicago, and they should pay for my hotel.
No, they shouldn't.
I think that's stupid.
I agree.
Some people agree with them, like this law firm, like the 20 or so people as of this video that also signed up the law firm, including the video from The Know,
Right.
who were like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. And I'm like, you're morons. They sound so stupid.
This thing didn't give me an enjoyable time, so I want to put them out of business and never enjoy it again.
They're saying what was advertised wasn't what they got. And it's like, well, that's kind of how advertising goes sometimes. You will never get a hamburger like you see on the picture in front of a McDonald's.
Did you see the video of that? Like how they
Yeah.
like gently dabbing the like things of ketchup.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, it's a really delicious bowl of cereal. That's Elmer's glue. That's not even milk.
I'm
Like-
trying to think back to like have we experienced like because like there's Rhode Island a couple years ago
Mhm.
where they weren't letting people like did they issue refunds for that? Did they issue
Not that I know of.
like when you could not get in the building and even if you got in the building you were chained into the building?
And I haven't heard any more on Froggy's photos, the more recent one,
Right.
where people hadn't gotten their photos for 6 months, or they were blurry.
Like did we go to Boston last year with the expectation of like a completely air conditioned building? Could we have sued over that? It did not live up to our expectations of the proper cooling.
You did hear of someone who went to see Suicide Squad and wanted to sue the company because there wasn't enough Joker in it. It was advertised as there being way more Jared Leto Joker than they actually got on screen. So it's false advertising, and I'm going to sue. It's like, that's what advertising is, dude. It's if someone went to see the Reno 911 movie to see The Rock,
Right.
you were
Yeah.
kind of disappointed. He was in 4 minutes.
But it was he advertised? Because I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Me neither.
But it's
Still,
yeah, I'm sorry, but they did the best they could. Like, there's only so much work they can do to fix this kind of thing.
it wasn't like
When you couldn't play the new Sin City for the first week?
SimCity.
Comic books. Yes, the game Sim City.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a couple.
Because that was online only.
Yeah, it was online
you had-
only.
you had to
Even
be
if you wanted to
connected.
play by yourself,
Right.
it was online only. You
Yeah.
had to connect. And the first couple days were wonky, but it was just kind of but it's a little bit different because it's like a wait, and then you'll eventually have it.
There's
It's like
been-
it was like the
there-
online for GTA 5.
There's been a lot of games where it's like, well, Tekken 7, I just got it.
Yeah,
For the first 4 or 5 days, all my matches would drop or would have bad signal, and it would just be, or I just couldn't connect and play online. I could still play offline,
Yeah.
but like, if it didn't work in the first 2 days, was I gonna return it? It's like, no, I'll fix it. But that's different from going to a place for an event.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
I'm trying to like put myself in that position. Like the furthest we go is to Jersey for World's Fair.
mhm.
So like I'm trying to like imagine going to like getting the hotel, driving down there,
If there's a storm and they close all the outside vendors on
Right.
the stage,
which has happened multiple
Or-
times.
are we gonna like threaten to sue because a storm came?
I mean, I
that's
guess
not, that's
we're
not in the control.
yeah, we're lucky because like there's so much to do at that show anyways, it doesn't even matter.
Mhm.
But like I'm just trying to like imagine like if we went there and it just turns out like none of the stages were functioning, none of the like I mean, that would suck. It would suck ass. But
If the entire thing was interactive in a way that we had to use another device, but that device wasn't connecting,
yeah.
like they were ready to go, but something with our device's connection. There, I don't think I have another example.
Yeah, I'm trying it's hard to put myself in that position.
It's like going to a concert and like the headlining band just doesn't show up.
yeah. I
like-
mean,
Well, the band didn't show up,
I definitely want my money. but
but you got 5 bands before them. You enjoyed those.
it's also if the band willingly didn't show up. Niantic was trying to do this.
Yeah.
They were really trying to get this done. It wasn't like remember
I could imagine there's a fleet of people in offices.
Oh, just panicking.
in some building.
panicking. For like I do not envy them.
How do we buy more servers? Can you ship a new server?
right?
What are serve?
Do you remember Firefest a couple months ago?
That was in my head. Yeah, thank you. For
That
reminding
is
me.
a disaster.
Oh yeah,
That was straight up a
flying
disaster.
flying to an island for a music festival that never happened.
Like paying thousands of dollars for tickets and like expecting all this concierge service, and you're on like air mattresses in refugee tents.
You get a geodesic dome. It's a tent.
Yep. It was straight up a tent. Like all the
And,
headliners canceled.
Yeah.
Like
Who
it
was
was
it? Was it Green Day
Ja
or
Rule.
Blink?
It was Blink.
Blink,
Yeah.
yeah. Because like,
Blink.
well, they said like this is not a safe thing that we don't want to go to. We don't want our fans to go to.
Yep. That's a disaster. If you go
Absolutely.
like, because when you showed up, they were not giving you what was advertised. I could
And-
expect someone to be like, "I want my money back."
Yeah.
But like, whereas Niantic, they were. I mean,
But there's also like no restitution.
yeah,
Like, even if they do, I don't recall the full story. Even if they do, excuse me, refund your ticket price, right? And like, well, they said you would get these World Star Chef catered foods,
right.
and you were getting like a slice of bread and a slice of cheese,
Like literally.
and some mixed greens, and that's all they were doing. They didn't take any further steps,
Right.
like. But we're thinking all in physical terms,
Yeah.
What does it cost Niantic to give you in-game currency that doesn't actually exist, or an in-game item or character?
They're
that-
missing out on a lot of potential money.
They're giving away things that aren't physical objects that don't cost them
Right.
anything, right? So what's that really costing them?
Yeah.
I mean, the manpower to do it.
I mean, they did refunding the tickets probably. I mean, because that couldn't have been a cheap thing to set up.
Right. Yeah.
And then I imagine they could be losing a lot of future money with
Mhm.
people who might be turned off by the event.
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, it could be seriously
if-
damaging.
If we hear about this and there's another one later on that's more local, are we getting a chance going to that?
Right. Or would you just kind of assume, like, give them the benefit of the doubt, be like, oh, they definitely learned from
They
their
should have
mistakes.
fixed it by now. Demand the cell
It's like
phone
running a
carriers bring-
convention and then selling too many tickets and then learning from that mistake.
So next year they sell them to me.
Wait,
Savage.
you just savage your own burn.
So I think the lawsuit's kind of stupid.
It's
if
still like it.
Let's go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You go, no, I was just gonna say it sucks, and like I feel for the people, but like to sue, you're really gonna how much effort and like I feel like I'm being hypocritical somehow,
Okay. If I was
but I can't
like,
put my finger on
if
it.
I was like 2 steps up, maybe 3. If I was like 3 steps further up the ladder on my fandom of playing Pokemon Go,
Right.
if I was like a bit more into it, and I went to this thing, would I be as mad?
Right.
Like, I'm not there right now, but if I was, I feel like I would have the foresight to think maybe this isn't going to work. You know? What have we done where it's been like that? Like, we go to a convention, like, we know the internet's going to be bad. So let's see if we can, like, get a Wi-Fi or something. If we can get a password.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any situation that we've been in that kind of relates to that in any way. But like I guess we're spoiled in that we've had mostly positive experiences, and even the negative experiences weren't even that bad.
Nick from Trainer Tips was saying, he was giving his honest review, which people, even he was saying, people aren't going to think is that honest if Niantic pays for his flight for him to meet people, because
Right.
he has the YouTube channel and he's got this huge
The following.
Patreon and everything.
Yeah.
But even he was saying, he's like, I was having more fun meeting other people, meeting trainers, meeting people from all over the world. There were people from other countries he'd never met before. And he was like saying, I got to hang out with people. And that was a cool thing
With
for
similar
him.
interests.
Yeah. But so I think that's where we kind of excel,
Yeah.
because we're usually into meeting people compared to like doing the thing. It's tough.
It is. It's tough because it sucks, and it really sucks. And I get like I feel like you're well within your right to blast it on the internet.
Yeah.
Like it if you're pissed, you sometimes you just got to get it out. But like
Go ahead and be angry. Don't if it's a good reason, don't not be angry. Like, let it out. You have legitimate cause to be furious. Okay. But it gets kind of difficult when a monetary value gets involved.
yeah, when you start talking lawsuits, then it's just how much effort do you want to put into this, and where could that effort be better allocated?
In all this, I haven't seen anyone threatening to sue Verizon or AT&T or
One of the other monopolies.
yeah, like Singular,
It's two jokes brought right back. Oh, we're funny to ourselves.
This is a great episode. Yeah, but like, those are such huge companies. There's a fleet of lawyers that will just tear you down.
Like I was saying, what are you going to do? Not use their services? You have to. It's the same thing with cable providers.
Yeah.
Like, that's like I don't know if I was going to say a legit thing, but like the thing that everyone always says, like they have that like the mutual handshake, like we'll stay out of this area if you stay out of this area, so we can just monopolize it essentially. Because you have to use our services because no one else is around. Who else are you going to go to? You can either have our internet or no internet.
Have fun with your satellite.
Yeah, enjoy that connection. It's just like, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
And you need the internet these days.
Oh yeah.
You have to have it.
I did see a thing where it was more of the making fun of millennials.
Millennials.
And it's like,
Never gets old.
You got to go pound the pavement and fill out those applications. And it's like, that's not a thing anymore.
No one does paper applications anymore.
Getting jobs is pretty much exclusively done online at this point. So am I being lazy sitting at my computer? I'm filling out applications over and over again through websites. It's
for jobs that I'm apparently unqualified for.
Or you are qualified, but they're not going to pay you what you need.
Yep. Love it.
Anyway.
The millennial thing is just great.
Moving on. So
why are millennials so obsessed with food?
Because that's all we can afford.
Because we need it.
How come millennials aren't buying diamonds?
Yeah.
That is it. My one textbook cost me $425 to college this year.
Did you see the one? It was similar. It was like, why aren't millennials buying diamonds? And the response was, I work at a restaurant. I'm a waiter.
My parking pass cost me $300 to park at the college, which I'm going to be in debt in for the next 20 years.
Forever.
That's way off topic.
Pokemon Go.
Having watched the last Eliza Schlesinger comedy hour thing,
Mm-hmm.
there's a few jokes she would say, and then she'd like kind of like close it by going, "It's really off-brand." So she had 2 off-brand moments, and I was like, I appreciate
I
that.
like that.
She So those are our thoughts on what was going on. In case you didn't know, if Pokemon Go was still a thing, that's what's happened recently.
I've been like, browsing Twitter, you start to see all the screenshots. Look what I got.
Mm-hmm.
Although nowadays it's all look what I missed, because like Lugia ran away.
Oh yeah,
Zapdos ran away.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
I finally got my first Ditto, by the way.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ditto was a thing like 4 months ago.
Yeah, that was like the big kind of, because everyone kind of dropped. Not everyone, but like the main thing with Pokemon Go, it's like, okay, I caught everything, I did everything.
Mhm.
Now what?
Yeah.
And then they started releasing more Pokemon. Ditto was the big one.
One of me isn't going to take down this gym by myself. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you take a team? You did, didn't
Yeah, I went Valor.
you? Of course you did.
I did.
Yeah. Whatever.
And I was I had the phone background and all that stuff for like a solid like week.
When I go to a thing like because Wickham Park had an event, I wore yellow to the event.
Was it your Zoom shirt?
Because I'm instinct.
Yeah, you would. Which I thought was another, like, there were a lot of cool things that Pokemon did and it got me outside last summer.
Mhm.
Like, especially the hottest part of the summer, I would normally just be sitting inside doing nothing. But I was out
Playing
walking
different
around.
video games.
Yeah, exactly. I was out walking around with my friends, like catching Pokemon, which Pokemon has been a part of my life since I was a kid.
Also, learning about the area around you.
Exactly.
If you take the time to, there's Pokestop at this rock. Well, what is the rock?
Oh, the rock is called this.
Oh, it's dedication to our past veterans of the town.
Exactly. Yeah.
Never knew that was a thing.
I lived in Suffield for 2 years, like down the street from where like our main, that like smorgasbord of Pokestops.
Mm-hmm.
Like I lived 10-minute walk from where we were hanging out, and I never like actually like went to that area aside from like going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like it has that veteran memorial and the library, and like there's a fire station down the street. Didn't even know that was there. Had no clue.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean I mocked it at first, and I made fun of everyone playing it first, mostly because I didn't get in on the ground floor,
Mm-hmm.
And then I downloaded it, and then I was obsessed with it, and everyone's made the mistake of having their volume up while the game boots. When you're trying to like do it quietly.
Yeah.
Playing it at work all the time on my breaks. My old job.
Sure, on the break, right?
On break, always.
Yeah.
Always on break. And I was like, I was big into it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you booting it right now? Is that what you're done?
No.
I blew the spot. There it is.
Whoops. Oh shit.
Brings me back.
And you look around to see who noticed.
Like, and the thing is, like, even up until like recently, where was it? It was at PAX. Was it at PAX? I can't remember if it was at PAX or a different convention, but like, or if it was a show. I can't remember. I was sitting somewhere in an audience,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember, like, I look over, and there was someone who I wouldn't expect to be playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
In terms of age and whatever. Just sitting there, like, just going through their Pokemon. And I was like, respect. Okay, that's cool.
I took down the gym at my local post office that I use all the time. It was a Mystic, and I beat them all up into because they changed the mechanic on what it used to be. I dig it now. It's You could tell that you're affecting it in a way that
Right.
you couldn't in the past. And so I beat the gym, and like it goes silver, and it's immediately yellow, and I didn't put anyone in it.
You
And
got
so
sniped?
when I look back in it, there's already a Executor in there, as instinct defense, which I was
Right.
okay with because I'm instinct anyway. But like, and then I start looking around
Right.
to be like, who the hell is in this vicinity close enough to snipe my gym? It's like, do we high five or you just hide like a coward?
Right.
If they
You
were
just see a
different,
car like pull out and drive away.
if they were like Team Valor, I'd be so pissed.
Right.
But it's okay because they were my team.
That was an issue, like back when the game first started, like people sniping.
There's
gyms.
supposed to be like a delay, like a stall, where only you can put someone back in the gym that you just beat,
which makes sense.
which I thought was a thing, but I got proven wrong personally, to me, just the
Well.
other day. I mean, I'm not bitter, but I'm a little bitter.
I don't blame you. You deserve to be bitter.
I hope that person was like in their car or something, like just chuckling, like watching me
Got it.
frantically look in a circle, like who the hell is?
Because there are people like me who did the car playing.
Mhm.
I liked playing in my car because it's nice and cool in my car. But I will get out of my car if it means, whatever. But like for the most part, I liked just kind of hitting in the car. Like, oh, let's go to this stop, park for a few minutes. But like Alex is big on no, we're gonna walk around. We're gonna do this.
I can't even ride my bike and play anymore because
Probably for the best.
You-
At the same time or
no,
like
there's
stopping.
a mount. I have a mount on my
Right.
on my handlebars, along with my horn,
Right.
my gigantic
Amazing horn.
horn. It's not like an innuendo. It's seriously there's a large.
It's a
horn.
giant horn.
You have to walk to put kilometers on your buddy and on your eggs. And when you get enough, you hatch your eggs, and your buddy gives you extra candies for whatever they happen to be. But like, it will track your speed, know how fast you're going. So walking, you'll definitely get your kilometers put on.
Mm-hmm.
If I ride my bike like at a normal bike riding speed, it's too fast. It won't clock the kilometers.
Right.
If I ride real slow, then it'll add up. And if you drive in your car, it won't work at all.
Yep.
And
And
then
it would
it'll
give you
ask-
warnings
yeah.
too.
Don't drive while playing. Are you a passenger? And there's only a yes button
Mm-hmm.
because no one would anyone click no.
Right? No, I'm not.
Because the real lazy ones will just use up their gas and drive real slow along back roads. Don't do that, by the way.
Don't.
It's not a tip. Just it's safer otherwise. Anyway. Yeah. So
Talk
that's a thing.
Talk about another game.
Yeah.
So Pokemon Go, that happened, and Pokemon Go Fest. Maybe attempt 2. Maybe if there's another one later on down the road, maybe it'll go a little more smoothly. Anyways,
Wait for reviews on that one.
yeah.
This was the best Pokemon Go Fest ever. Ah, we missed it. Damn it.
So there's another game that we've actually talked about a lot.
It's similar, just as kid friendly, just
Yeah.
as fun,
Yep.
just as cute.
Very.
None of those things.
Yep.
It's fun though. It's called Dead by Daylight. We've talked about it on the past 2 PAX review episodes because Colin hyped it 2 years ago, and I got to play it this past year. Really dug it. You're basically playing as a movie killer archetype of some form, but you could also play as a survivor trying to escape the killer archetype. And it's a 4 against 1. It's been on PC for over a year, and I was waiting and waiting for it to come out on PlayStation 4
Mm-hmm.
and also Xbox One. And it finally came out on those just, was that 2 months ago? A month ago?
Just about, yeah.
And yeah, so I got to start playing it on my my console. That's for gaming. Because my PC is not for gaming.
Right. Yep.
And I had a friend who was like, "You should play this game," and I was like, "I want to." I'm like, then do it. I'm like, "Can't." And they were really confused. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. I play it pretty regularly. I switch between that and Tekken 7 and Overwatch. Like those are my 3 go-tos right now.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I couldn't connect to the internet, and I downloaded one of the PSN freebies or the PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
So I was playing some Tales of the Borderlands.
Yeah.
So I got like 2 chapters in on that.
That's a fun game.
It is. That's been fun.
Really good music.
Mhm. And I do like the daily missions you get for Dead by Daylight. So if I never play Dwight or I never play Ming or whatever, it'll be like you have to put on like a 4
Dwight and Ming being the different survivors.
Right. There's right now 7 total. And like it might be Dwight has to take a friendly survivor off the hook, or Min has to be chased by the killer for 4 minutes. And then you get like bonus blood points. Blood points you can buy your perks and like level up. Essentially, that's how you level up in the game. And there's different things you could add to that I really dig. Some make you better, some make you better, but also make you worse than something else.
There's like skill trees.
Yeah, kinda, sorta. Like, let's see. So you can get items: toolbox, flashlight, map, med kit, So
which
like,
are all very helpful.
yeah, in different ways. So like the toolbox, I might add an attachment to the toolbox that'll make it easier to disassemble a hook, but it's not going to do anything for repairing generators.
Right.
Or it might make my generator repair faster, but like make the skill check window smaller.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Hmm.
Because the goal of the game, as survivors, you need to turn on 5 generators and then escape through the gates. And all these have chances to make noises or alerts that alert the killer. The person playing as a killer, their job is to kill everyone, hit him a few times, make him wounded, make him dying, and
Sacrifice.
then put him on a hook. And the entity eats them and they get sacrificed. But I dig the thing of like you could play as either of these things. A similar game that's come out recently, they've been doing Friday the 13th with Jason.
Yeah. I haven't really seen much about it. I see that it's like popular on Twitch. That's about it. That's all I
I've
got.
only seen it on the highlight reel, which is a good series I like on the Kotaku YouTube channel. But usually if it's not highlight reel, it's not because like it's a highlight of something amazing happened. There was a glitch
Right.
that made something crazy. But I haven't seen any Dead by Daylight highlight reels. They say you can write in and ask for some footage of that.
Yeah.
And they'll look for some. But I've been enjoying it. There's been some glitches recently.
Yeah.
Once in a while they say they're fixed, and then I see it happen again. I just saw another player, it happened to them the other night, where one of them is you turn on all their generators, and you open the gates and you escape. But once you escape, it's supposed to like, give you your blood points, then like take you to the victory screen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do that. Like you get your points or some of your points, but then like you can just run around the outside of the map.
Like in like a unloaded zone, right?
Yeah, essentially. And the game doesn't end, and the killer can stand there and watch you because they can't go past a certain point of the exit because they're stuck inside because the game's supposed to end when you get past that point, so they can't make it. So then you're stuck running around until you run off the edge of the map and you fall back onto the map somewhere. Most of the time, it drops you next to the hatch.
Right.
So the hatch. I had to look this up because I saw it like pop up on the screen. It kind of looks like a book, but it's a hatch. If you don't open the doors, or even if you do, shut up, I'll take that back. If you're the last survivor, either everyone else escapes or everyone else dies, then the hatch opens, right? But it's randomly located on the map. The entire
Right.
map is usually a random generated thing. There will be placements of trees or hay bales, or depending on the map, there's different buildings. The layout will change each game. It's not always going to be the same, so you don't know where everything is. And the generators move, they're randomly placed, the hooks are randomly placed. There's usually like a few focal points, but otherwise the stuff is all different. So like game to game, you don't know where you are. The killer doesn't know where to camp, that kind of thing. But if you're the last person, then you can use the hatch.
Because if you're alone, in theory, starting up a generator, repairing all the generators, whatever, because like the killer can see them,
yeah,
the generators,
yeah,
and whereas like the player cannot until they're right next to them.
right.
Doing that by yourself is next to impossible. And then opening the gate, which takes time.
Yep.
Like,
There's a buzzer, there's a clang,
yeah, you just can't.
and the killer's notified when something goes wrong. So like, when you're vaulting through a window, if you don't go slow, you like kick the window,
Yeah.
and the killer's notified of that. He'll see like a thing of like something happened over there. If you miss a skill check on the generator, the generator like backfires, and the killer's notified of that.
Yeah.
And where the direction is. So like anything you do wrong, the killer's notified,
Yeah.
and he'll come get you.
So if you're by yourself, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the hatch
Yeah.
is almost it's a necessity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to see it as like an easy out, but it's like if you're the last one, I mean, you managed to survive. You're the last
You
one,
also
but then
have to find
you gotta
it.
find it.
It's
yeah.
really tough to find. In all my games, I've actually found it like twice.
Mm-hmm.
I've found it opened and escaped opened twice. And I've seen it closed maybe 2 times. So I guess I've seen it a total 4 times ever.
Right.
I haven't seen if there's like a stats, like a total statistic
Yeah.
read out for my games. But in that glitch where you can't exit, you have to run off the edge of the map. It'll drop you near the hatch some of the times. I've had it work. I've had it not work. And I've bled out because I've let the killer hit me thinking that would affect something.
Right.
And then I'm just lying there and just bleeding to death. Because you can still crawl when you're on the ground.
Right.
Overall, it's been fun. Interacting with other players has been neat because you don't know what those other survivors are going to do.
Hmm.
They could be beneficial. They could be selfish. Depends on what kind of points they want to collect.
Which is exactly the type of situation you'd see in real life too.
Yeah.
Like you could see selfish people like, no, I only care about number one, and that's me.
Oh, there's some stranger and they just got hooked. Well, I'm gonna.
What the
fix this.
fuck do I care?
This generator's not gonna fix itself.
Exactly.
You know?
And I know that the killer's probably just camping the hook anyways, so I'm just gonna take my time repairing this generator.
I wonder if there's other players that feel strongly about this, because from my standpoint, I would not camp a hook. I feel that's like bad sportsmanship or bad gameplay, like because you put a victim on the hook, and what happens is some players they just stand there and watch. They're the killer. They need to complete the sacrifice. Like this time has to go by for the entity to like kind of form and develop. And then it essentially stabs him and lifts him up into the sky into this other dimension. And like that's when the player dies. You can get hooked twice, maybe 3 times, depending on how much health you lose in the process. But you can rarely get off the hook yourself. There's like a 3 or 4% chance of you doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do that, you lose a
Ton of health.
considerable amount of health.
Yeah.
So you need another player to come take you off the hook. So if the killer hooks you and then leaves, then you have a chance of getting saved.
But they never do. They sometimes do.
It happens. I've seen it work out. It's worked against me when I'm the killer sometimes. I'll admit it. But I'm of the thought to hook them and then bail, because there's other things I have to do. I have to go check the generators. I have to go kill the other survivors. And sometimes someone's there to take them off the hook, and sometimes they're selfish and leave them there to die.
Right.
But otherwise, if you stand there and watch, like, I guess it's a thing that might happen where it's like, I need to make sure this person ends up dead, and I'm going to stand here and watch him. And no one can, you essentially can't go save him, because then you'll get hit by the killer. You'll get hooked, or, he'll grab you, because there's a thing where, like, you can stop them from doing a activity, because, like, instead of hitting them while they're doing the generator, you could just, like, yank them back and then pick them up.
Right.
You don't have to hit them twice. So there's different animations for that. I guess the opinions might vary on how to properly play the game.
I mean, I imagine it's very easy to as the killer, like when you hook someone, to just sit there and wait.
Mm-hmm.
But like you could also just like, would that get boring? It's like playing Bastion. Like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and shoot. I'm probably gonna get play of the game 70% of the time.
I'm near the point, and they're just gonna come around the corner and
Yeah, I'm gonna get a ton of kills, so I'm gonna do well. My team might not do so hot, but I'm gonna do well because it's easy.
I have to move at least once every 60 seconds, or I'll get booted from the game.
Right.
Because I mean, you just camp so much. You just pitch your tent because you're Bastion. Sorry, different game coming through. Just
Yeah, different other rages.
very strong opinions.
You're an honorable killer.
There have been some issues with more like visual glitches. Just like it's usually like as you're hooked, when the spider like spikes kind of essentially show up and go to stab you. There's some weird like screen breaks where it goes between, because you can catch the hook and you have to like try and get the thing to not stab you, to sacrifice you, but like there's a weird delay in when that happens. And like when you go to do an action, the anime doesn't always catch up with it. It's like, I want to take someone off the hook, and I'm holding R1. My character's not doing anything yet, so I'll let go to press it again. But now I'm already doing the action, so then I stop. So
Right.
The person who was mashing X to not get spiked by the spider legs has to start mashing again, or they'll get spiked by the spider.
Right.
And there's been a few where you can heal another player if they've been hit. And so like usually like they kind of squat down and you're like lean over them and like you're medicining them somehow. And there's some times where like you don't know they're doing that, so you don't stand still. But then the animation catches up, so like you're actually like 2 people lengths away from each other,
Yeah.
where one's squatting and one's like banishing them.
Yep.
Um,
One of the mechanics I dig.
Yeah.
That I didn't even realize back when we first started seeing this at PAX a couple years ago, and then when you actually played it, because I've only played it as a survivor. One thing I didn't even realize that I think is neat is the survivor's view in third person.
okay.
So it's like over the shoulder. So you can spin the camera. Like if I'm working on trying to repair a generator, I can spin the camera to check behind me and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
The killer only sees in first person.
Right. Yeah.
So like they can see straight. Like so like it's easy to think like when you're a survivor, like oh I'm running around, I'm just diving in between stuff, but they can see everywhere I'm going because like they probably had the third person camera too. It's like eagle's eye. I didn't realize that like it was
Yeah.
first person.
If you're the killer, you can't see behind you
Yeah.
unless you turn around.
Exactly.
Well, part of that is you have to see their point of view because there'll be a red light that shines where they're looking.
Hmm.
And so like you can, if you're crouched somewhere like behind a wall and you know they're close because you can hear your own heartbeat and it gets faster when they get closer, or like when they're nowhere near you, there's no heartbeat. But like you see their red light of their view, their vision
Yeah.
around you. And when they're chasing you, if you're covered in red light, you're about to get hit because they're really close.
And they get like a boost like the longer they chase you. They get like the
Sometimes, yeah.
bloodlust or whatever it is.
That's just the shape,
Right.
which isn't on PS4 yet.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's a DLC or if it'll come later. But
Right,
it's
right.
on PC. There's different survivors have different like of their own personal perks. They have like I play Ace. Ace is higher in luck. He has a luck thing.
Hmm.
Meg, who's like the first person that you start with, she's better at running and sprinting, so she has a thing. Like so, each survivor like has something they're better in, and that they could kind of teach to others. So that's kind of neat. And then the killers each have like different, I guess, weapons.
Right.
There's a trapper who lays out bear traps essentially.
He's like the face of the game, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has a big whacking thing. It's like either a wrench or an axe, depending.
It's his whacker.
And but he carries around a bear trap. He can pick up others off the map. They're scattered around.
But he starts with the one.
Yep. And then if you walk over the trap, then it snaps on you, and he's notified of that. And sometimes you can escape it, sometimes you can't. He can step in his own traps.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then it slows him down, and he has to reset it. There's the doctor, who has like a madness radius, which is kind of neat. His power is to like he sends out this arc, and if you get hit by it, like you scream and you start seeing shit.
Hmm.
So he's kind of cool. A lot of people like playing the hillbilly, who has like a hammer and a chainsaw,
Right.
and he can do the sprint across the entire map like while revving his chainsaw.
He hauls ass.
If he hits you with the chainsaw, then you're automatically like it's like taking 2 hits essentially. And
Right.
you're down to dying, and then it could hook you right away. I don't like playing him though, because it's really tough to get a good chainsaw hit. I feel.
It's tough to control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The Wraith, that's why I played at PAX. He can turn invisible essentially. You can still see an outline. It's like watching the Predator. And he walks way faster in invisible form than he does in visible form.
Hmm.
The nurse, I thought was going to be fun, but her power is really tough to use because she could like phase through things and ghost through stuff. And if you use it right, she can grab you as she goes through like overturned wooden pallet or through a wall or through a window or whatever. I never had a successful grab, not once. Apparently, it's really tough to get the accuracy on that. And then there's the hag, and the hag who's I like playing. She's this wrinkly old ugly thing.
Hag.
And yeah, but she's like a swamp witch essentially. But she draws a rune on the ground, and she has 10 that she could do, and she draws this rune and then like leaves. And if you cross over it or near it, it alerts her, and like a ghost of her pops up where the rune is, and you think it's actually her because the heartbeat will start going and you'll
Right,
freak
right.
out a bit. And then if you're close enough as the hag, you can teleport to that spot immediately. So like I think someone's gonna come to this generator. I'm gonna leave a rune here. It's my trap. And then I'm gonna walk away. But if I'm like within 40 yards, and they cross that trap, then I could teleport there
You can zip to
and
it.
start chasing them. So I dig her with that.
Right.
Leave people. Some people cross and I'm nowhere near it, but they'll take off anyway because I think I'm there.
Right. Exactly. 10
But-
of them. That's a lot too. You could put like 2 on every generator. You wouldn't need to, but like 1 per generator, 1 per. That's one thing. Like,
There's more generators than you need.
right.
There's like usually 7-ish on the map,
And you need 4,
You need 5. Yeah, and then there's the number of hooks can change because there's different things you could use. You could like essentially burn to like give to the entity
Mm.
to either convince like to, you could as a survivor you could ask it to put up 2 less hooks. As a killer, you could put up to 2 more hooks or chests to get more items, things like that.
One thing, like, kind of wrapping up, I didn't realize, because we saw this game initially 2 years ago at PAX. I remember I was like, oh my god, Alex has to see this. This game is literally made for Alex. And we told you all about it, and then you got to play it this past year. And you won, of course, obviously. And it went from like a really cool word of mouth game that we saw 2 years ago to like last year this past year they had a huge booth.
Yeah.
Huge display of the Trapper and all that, and lines,
Cosplayers of the Wraith and the Nurse.
lines out the door, like everyone wanted to play, like, and it got
I had to wait at least a half hour,
yeah,
if not longer.
it had a big Twitch presence, a Twesence. A lot of like popular streamers were playing it, having fun with it. Because one of the things, like, you do see a lot of games, like, you're only gonna see it at PAX unless you hunt it down later.
Right.
Might not necessarily make it big, but like this game, like, we saw get a lot of emails about it, things like that, like Dead by Daylight coming to Steam, blah blah, whatever. I initially, like, without doing much research, I thought it was there are survivors and then there's a killer and the killer just kills them, and the survivors need to survive.
Yeah.
Like, when I actually got the game and I just realized how deep it was and how there is so much more to it. Like, as far as like the different types of killers, the different abilities they have, the different types of survivors and their skills, like the things you get, like the blood points and leveling up and all that stuff. Like, I had no idea how
You could
deep it was.
You can attach perks to your weapons. So like, you could have the regular trap, basic bear trap thing if you're the trapper.
your everyday bear
And
trap
there's regular bear trap
to catch
trap
humans
to- but you could attach something to it to make it spring faster, or you could make it so they can't get out of it, because like there's a chance you could get out of the bear trap before
Right.
it comes to get you. So it could make that harder to do. It could reduce, like, you could make that be a skill check. The hag has things that'll like increase the distance of what'll set the trap off, or it'll increase the distance that I could teleport to, but it might also mean a longer setting time to draw each trap.
right.
So there's a lot of in-mexing you can do, essentially, to affect the game.
Mm-hmm.
But at higher levels, like, it gets more refined. And when you finally open the gate, a big thing that JR taught me.
I only taught it because I saw a guy do it, because I've never made it out.
And everyone does it now.
Yep.
No one just leaves at the gate unless, like, you don't have time to waste. But otherwise, you open the gate and then you wait for the killer to come find the open gate, and you just stand there and like teabag,
You viciously teabag
teabag,
and then just haul
and
ass
then
out.
taunt him, and then when he comes to get you, you just leave, and you win the game.
What if you play as the hag and you put a bunch of runes in front of the gate? So then when they go to run out, you can just warp to them.
You can do that, but they're usually past it anyway.
That would feel amazing. I
So
think.
there's a perk that I got for the hag that I haven't set yet, and it changes it so that you can set a rune, you set your trap, and if they spring the trap, the hag pops up, but it's a physical version of the hag.
Mhm.
It's not you, and you can't teleport to it.
Hmm.
But it's gonna block where they can run to, so that
Right.
they can't run through it anymore. Whereas before they could. So now it's physically there, but you can't teleport to it.
Right.
So I could set up 5 of them
Right. Just
across,
block the
across
entrance.
the gate, and they can't get through.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I'm digging it. It's not perfect yet. Hopefully it'll get there. but there's also a chance where they could DLC some new stuff into it and some additional things, get some new characters. Because another PC version, who's the Left 4 Dead guy they introduced? Ammo here.
Oh yeah. Him. I don't know. I can't remember his name.
You knew his name last when I brought it up before.
Yeah. It's escaping me right now.
The old guy from Left 4 Dead.
From Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
He's in the game?
He was in the PC version.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been out for a year. Because I know that was a thing featured in the at PAX. Like, it was released in an email in one of our media press emails notifying us of things. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What? I need to know this guy's name now.
You're gonna say we're gonna go, oh right.
Characters.
Colin's
Colin's
gonna know it. Yeah.
Bill.
Yep.
Yep. An old Vietnam War veteran, the leader of the group.
So you could play as him too. I wonder if he has different powers or
So I'm
abilities.
just
They're not
killing a
really
lot of
powers,
zombies.
but
But it's fun. It's a unique game. It's refreshing. It's deeper than you think.
it's equally frustrating if you can't get it right.
Scary.
Yeah,
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
you going.
I can't. I usually don't play it in a reclined position.
That's fair.
I'm usually elbows on knees or just standing up.
Right.
When I'm looking around stuff, looking for the killer, I'm actually like leaning over
Yep.
in my seat.
Yep. The classic. It's a neat game. I
would
recommend. We need to get a bunch of us together so we can all try and survive together and stuff. I think that'd be rad.
If you get it now, it's extra blood points summer.
Right. Yep.
Mhm.
Let's get your blood points while they're hot. 98.6 degrees exactly, to be exact. Get it? Because that's the body temperature. So your blood would technically be that temperature, right?
If you want to play with me, let me know. PSN CONAN 2ND Conan second.
It's
Let
like
me
you're
know.
the second Conan.
That's exactly what that is. What that are.
It's a rad game. Go check it out if you can. Or if you can't check it out, go to a show maybe where you can check it out.
Or challenge me in Tekken.
Or challenge, Alex, or even our friend Ken,
Or yep.
who recently competed at EVO in Tekken.
How do you do?
He won.
Was there like master level and amateur level or anything? Or
No, he was.
just
It's all
It's
like
all one.
It's all. It starts with pools,
Okay.
and you gotta make it out of your pool to make it into like the main bracket. There's
Okay.
a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of contestants. There's a lot of entrants. But like, I found Ken. He entered Street Fighter and Tekken.
Yeah.
But Street Fighter was just cause, and then Tekken was they actually still need to listen to it. But they local co-op Ken Colin and Zach's podcast. They
Mhm.
did an episode on his
Oh, they
experiences.
talked about the
in
whole
Tekken.
thing.
But it was really. I was telling Ken the other night we were
No,
playing.
that was the question. They talked about the whole Evo thing.
I believe so. It was
Okay.
like Evo's Ken experiences. I haven't listened to it yet myself,
We'll
but
have to go do that.
right.
If you want to learn about Evo and competing in the tournaments.
I'm probably gonna listen to it while I upload this tonight. But like it was. I was telling Ken the other night when we were playing Overwatch. Like it was, and I was probably overly excited because I was messaging Ken a lot when he was out in Vegas. It was really cool, like refreshing the bracket and seeing his name move.
Huh.
Like, cause like I found
Oh,
him
you
in
could
the
watch that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's neat.
found him in the bracket. I found his pool, and like at first it was like his first. I think he like initially like he's like, oh, I lost my first match or something like that, or I can't remember. He lost a match, but it turns out he played the wrong guy, so the match was null.
Huh.
So because like it's double elimination,
Okay.
so you can lose twice.
Yeah.
If you lose once, you go into loser side,
Right.
but then if you lose again, you're out.
Right.
And he won like. I think his first 4, like one of them was a DQ. The guy didn't show up, but then I think he beat 3 other people in his pool, and it was just really neat seeing his name like moving up the bracket. It was just really fucking cool. Like if you'll excuse, it was rad.
Some people have heard us talk about Evo in the past.
Yeah,
Somewhere we've mentioned it, but it's a really cool event.
it's the biggest fighting game tournament in the world.
Yeah.
And like to see my friend like in a bracket that I normally refresh, seeing like all the names that I've recognized over the past couple of years, like to see my friend moving up in that, it was really cool. I thought it was super neat, and I was really excited. Like, because he would obviously the bracket would update. There's a little bit of a delay. It's like he would text us and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I won my whatever match," and then like I'd go and refresh, and it would eventually pop up. But it was really neat.
I watched a couple highlight reels or streams or
Yeah.
Twitch, YouTube videos of like highs and lows. There was a guy who competed in Tekken 7 who was dressed like Brian Fury, who actually carried like an iron girder, like an I-beam on just to, it was like, he was like cosplay, it was foam or whatever. And when he lost, like he threw it off the stage. That was really neat.
Oh man.
He really went all out.
Someday I need to check that out. But I'm also gonna go live that experience vicariously through Ken. Going home tonight, listen to the late, not the latest. I think they uploaded a new one too. That episode of the local co-op podcast, which is like my second favorite podcast right now. It's funny because this one, anyways.
Oh, good. I was hoping it was.
Yeah, there it is. I don't listen to any others because I'm a terrible person. That was fun though. Dead by Daylight and Pokemon Go, they're good video games for the most part. Two very different games.
Can you imagine a Dead by Daylight?
Dead by Daylight with Pokemon?
Fest,
Oh,
like an event
that would be kind of terrifying.
where you might actually die.
Yeah. And if it didn't work, you might have a lot of deaths.
If all the survivors and killers got switched, so it was 4-1.
That's a lot of killers.
That'd be awesome.
And then they're all Pokemon.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, Alex. Thanks for talking about Pokemon
Yeah.
and stuff and giving me the 411 on what's going on because I'm no longer in the know. So that was neat. What? Boston? Is that what you're gonna say?
The mystery Pokemon that look like letters.
Yeah.
They got released now.
Yeah, I
They're
heard
a
about
thing.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember what they're called.
Missing No? Is that correct?
No,
Or is
Missing
that-
No was the
that's
glitch back in the
Right.
day,
Yep.
which I exploited like crazy, crazy. I was all about Missing No and the rare candy glitch, and then I had weak Pokemon because of it, and I never understood why. But yeah, Boston is literally a week from today. We'll be at Boston.
Mhm.
Super rad. Hopefully, it's in the new venue. Can't wait. I'm sure we'll be talking about it at some point. But that's gonna do it for this week. So until then, I have been JR.
I'm Alex.
And this has been episode 281 of Opinions May Vary. And we all done.